Okay, people. Now, do you think the problem is when we get leaders a lot is because we don't have a big enough selection? Is because certain people are going to go to certain areas and people couldn't be bothered waiting for a better leader? So they'll just elect one that's in line already. What's the problem with people once again can elect a leader no matter who it is? Because that's what it says that we can do. We don't have to elect the people that they say who should be the next Prime Minister or Peter Dutton, how do we know that he ain't going to be like everybody else? How do you think you got the person that's in there now? Because they didn't like the previous person, right? You don't want to rush too quickly because you don't know what that previous person could be like, do you? Right? Why do we always just go, we hate him, so let's elect him? Right? Why can't we just elect what we know is right? Why do we have to go elect someone that we think is just a little better? That doesn't make sense, does it? How do we fix this problem, people? Do we have to click the other box when we all go to vote? Don't even tick them. Click the other and write in a name. Is that what we should do when voting comes? You know, we'll allowed to have more rights when it comes to things like that. And able to tick other and then write any name you want. That'd actually make me want to go vote. Because I think, what's the point of voting for people that shouldn't even be in there? Right? And I can debate that situation. So I don't want to vote for any of certain people. Because I find that could be a better person out there. Right? Anyway, everyone makes their own choices, like they say. And we do have steps to make these choices easier for us. Which is their steps of mayor, blah, 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 as they go up steps, right? To show who's the more better candidate to talk about, to put into the list. But we don't really need that, do we? We just need someone who's going to be serious, really. They're just going to be serious of what they say and who they're for. Like giving out billions and millions of dollars to other countries, not only while we're in debt to put inflation up and make it harder for us, is that it's already hard here. There's already companies asking to help Australians for money and help, and yet the government doesn't help. It's like with my funding with cystic fibrosis, right? They get funding and stuff like that, and they can only help so much. And every time I needed to go in when I was really sick and I needed some decent help from these people, I couldn't get it. Right? And it doesn't mean anything, but it just shows you something, hey, that there's Australians out there that need help and don't get enough help because we're already in debt and the government's worried about the debt, but yet it goes out and gives it to friends and won't fix their own house. Sounds pretty stupid. So if I'm broke right now, do you think it's wise? And I'm already trying this with my time, people. Do you think it's wise to waste time? That's why I'm stopping. I've wasted time the last 2 years and got nowhere by trying to put out advice and talking to people and trying to show people a new way of living, including dancing, new style and everything, which I find quite interesting. And no one's ever spoke to me about it, ever. How I'd do it, what made me come up with that, anything. And you know why? Because everyone wants to control everything. All these big leaders, don't they? So when it comes to people who like to control, and we find out about that, they need to be gone quick smart. Right? But when it comes to people who screw up sometimes, we need to check things before we wreck things. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and have a good one, people. See you later. G'day, people. I want to talk about real estate and hotels and how they like to get as much money as they can. And it's their job. And when you're contracted too, so you only get as much money as good as your mind and how hard you work, then they will do anything in their power to get more money. It's literally a trap for certain areas, as they'll, like a real estate person selling a house, I get money by commission and I just need to make this house be more expensive. Over time, the house prices will go more expensive as they will keep saying it's worth more money because they make more money, right? When it comes into that field. And that field is stuck in real estate field, and they talk about that real estate brings up inflation. True, people? So who's bringing up inflation when it comes to real estate and the truth of real estate, and who does value property? Real estate. True? Right? It's a real estate field, right? And so they make more money for themselves in their contracts. You get it? Right? So, when it comes to hotels and stuff like that, we all know about the hotel thing. And the hotel thing, it's probably fair enough because you're traveling and they've got to clean your mess and all this kind of stuff, and there's more to it when it comes to hotels. And if they find out you got an extra person there and they're staying, so they can be there right up to the night, they can be there all the hours, they just can't sleep because that's where the law is, right? They just can't fall asleep there, right? That's where they trap people, stuff like that. And if they do, then you've got to pay for the extra money. Now, because you maybe decide to help a bum out. Now, that's why people couldn't help bums out when you're in a hotel. The system wouldn't even allow you to do it unless you want to pay more money. So for you to be kind, you've got to be more kind to the hotel people. They won't be kind, right? Unless they come out and say that and go, this is promo, right? Other than that, if they don't know the whole story, they'll just do what they do, which would be charge you. True? So when it comes to community housing, people, and they've told me a lot, and it comes to relationships and couples, right, is that if you stay at a house and you become a couple, and you are a couple, right, and you got to pay your pays get together, and then they charge you for your pay. Here, I get charged for how much my income is here. So when you become a couple, your income is classed as one. So then they can charge you off that income. But me and Emma never have gotten to that full couple stage yet. We haven't had kids, and we've had a lot of fights off and on until just recently, and we're still sort of tweaking it. Is that true, Emma?
Yes, that's true.
Right, so we've never been a couple, and I've helped her out a lot, like I was talking about someone who needs a place to go, right? And so that's what I've been doing. And I've mentioned to housing that one day I will get married soon. I'm going to get something sorted out when it comes to me and Emma. And we've been talking about marriage, right? And we've even done a step, and we know we need a certain time before you actually get married. So we want to get married, we've got to make sure this works, and that's where we are now, right, before we get married. And we haven't had a kid together to have to make the next full commitment. Because when you have a kid with someone, that means you should have kept your pants shut or whatever, right? And now you're going to have to make a full commitment because you brought something into life, unless you're going to get rid of the kid, of course, right, before they're born, and then get rid of their commitment, right? And some people need to do that, as they're not willing to do that commitment to them. They're not ready, they know that, right? And they can always have another life, right? But a lot of people say, put it out for adoption. But imagine a system where you've already got too many kids out for adoption. We've already got way too many animals, like at the shelter, right, and which is all around the world, for people to go and stay. And then they're saying, but you should have the kid because we need another soul out to have that same problem and grow up in that kind of life. You think that's good, or do you think they should just go, maybe do something when it's early and nothing's really formed, and they can always do it again? True? Right, so I believe in abortions at certain times before they become a full soul, right? It's just a chance there. I call that a certain area when you get pregnant, that and you can get an abortion because that's their choice and that's their right and their God-given right to do that kind of thing, right? Is that, and it hasn't formed or anything, is that it's quite humane, right? For the child and for the person, okay? Of course, waiting too far and it goes too far, and then doing something when it's alive and all that is another story and discussion to talk altogether, right? But anyway, I've been wanting to discuss this thing for ages and talk about it in the government system about what is a couple, right? And I've done some videos about that already. Do you want to look back? I might put some more up soon. I'm going to go to a count a day or maybe a couple. Some of them are got more on than others on it. But I'll start re-uploading, unblocking my channel, right? And I'm going to leave certain things still blocked, as I'm going to leave certain areas alone, right? But I do need questions, and people need questions, and so we do things until we get the answers of those questions. True? Right? So whatever I'm doing is peacefully, not there to attack at all. It's cautiously, after the attacks I've had. And as far as I'm concerned, I do things right, and I like to discuss things and do things with people if they don't want to attack me behind the scenes. Because if I just get attacked behind the scenes, well, bad outcomes are going to happen. Retaliation is going to happen because they're not being fair and honest about the discussions. And I've discussed to my housing about me and Emma and about what's going on and about the marriage and thing, and that I'll get onto them as soon as possible about when my life gets sorted out and then I'm on the internet and I'm trying to sort my life out. But certain things happen and we've got to wait more than what we think we do when things happen. True? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there and bye-bye. Have a good one. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I hear a lot lately because of inflation. Right? That's why the government's got to give out more money to people on Centrelink because of inflation to keep them where they always are. Right? So they stay the same. But when people suffer inflation from the government, not the ones on Centrelink workers will suffer like everyone does, but then the government will get a little bit more, so it's not that bad. They always stay in the suffering float. You get it, right? But everybody else, definitely the middle people, well, they always say the middle people suffer, which is true, right? They will pay. Right? They do the hardest work for the not much. So what I mean by that is, you got the middle class right now paying off a home, paying off their car, paying off their credit card. The middle class, they're working hard, right? But all those things are high in prices. So they've got to work hard for that extra cool house or that better car than the person renting to say that they own the house soon in time, right? And to get all these benefits, those things, a car, home and a house, right? They've got to work all extra harder because of inflation, right? And when that happens, what would that occur? With people going, well, I've got to work all this hard, and then people might even lose their homes because it went too high in certain sectors. And so they lose their home, but they've got a car now, they're renting now, they're working harder. They might go, well, hang on, we'll just pay off my car. Am I paying off anything? Hang on, if I'm working all this and I've got to pay more because I'm a worker, and I've got to pay this and that and this, and real estate want this because I'm earning a little bit more because I need more money doing this, but now because I'm earning more money because I need to pay this, and because of inflation now, real estate want more money, and this wants more money. You get the hole you're getting flushed out, which will create people to go, fuck it, I'll just live like those people, less stress. Because isn't life doing things to get less stress? So if you've got all this stress, and you're doing all this work, you look at why you're doing it all for, and is it worth it, that home you're looking at? When you know you could just go bush and just grow some veggies, and you can do things, and maybe sell that home, just get land out there, or just simplify your life, you get it? I'm saying to go bush, that's what people's life, it's more rougher, right? But I'm just saying, you can do another approach to help your mind. Some of these people get so stressed out that they go, I don't know what to do with all these things, and they think they need it all, but I can't pay it, and now I'm going to kill myself because I've got to pay these bills, and people commit suicide with that. They're so confused, like a robot hitting overload. I'm doing all the right things, but the commands are just all too much. What they want in these commands, all these rules, is too much. Robot overload. What do you reckon? Do I explain things short and good in certain ways? Because when it comes to education sometimes, and just get points across too, you can put a whole book about a point, right? Or you can put just a little bit out and you can know a fair bit, right, about that point and move on. Because in life, it's good to know about certain things. Like they say, life skills, you should know how to cook and all this stuff, even though you're going to go push a button in the factory, right? And then you might have a wife that cooks for you, but it's good to know just in case your wife's not around, right? It's good to know certain things that you will need to know, like cooking or cleaning or certain things, or maintaining your car. It's good to know. If you can't, then you've got to work a little extra, and of course you can pay other people, and it depends on your pay and who you are, right, as a person as well. Okay, because we know about income and what's worth, and we also know that some people get paid more than they should, and all the rest. We're in a hellhole of issues that we've got to sort out, isn't it? In chaos. So when we're like that, we've got so many issues. What's the best way to fix things? Policies and laws that are good. Because policies and laws help create a better world, doesn't it? Without the good policies and laws, and they're all in this shit, and everything's in this shit, what's that going to inedible get? It's going to be someone who wants to dictate, to try to put in control, which is the easiest way out, and then set their rules and then dominate. And what are we doing overseas now in certain sectors? That exact thing. So how can we stop things like this? Set an example? Should a country just set an example about how we should do things right so other countries can see? Do you think such a country doesn't want to try because other countries might get jealous and come and get them? Just like an individual trying to do the same thing to a group of people? Things we need to talk about, isn't it? Let's get an answer on that one. Have the news talk about that one, and let's get an answer on it. See you later. Bye. The ultimate question is, why do human beings need such tragedies to want to change? Why did the Australian government need COVID to work harder and not fight amongst each other? Do humans really only connect and get better after tragedies for a while and then get bored and then want to fight? Are we a 50-50 controlled tragedy? You know what I mean? So we go too far, then we balance back out like a seesaw, and then we get too stupid and silly and yahoo and end up having wars and I'm better than you, too far on the seesaw, and then we get into a major war and then we tilt again. Why do we keep seesawing? What do we really need to do when it comes to education to really help us? What's the number one things that kids need to learn from primary school and high school, and then definitely through college if you want to get a proper job when it comes to governments and connecting with people and stuff? What do we really need to learn? Not to have envy and greed. It's got to be a major factor, and not to lie. Not with big major lies, you know what I mean? If you getting asked a question, then you shouldn't be lying. If you're in a certain sector, getting paid, if you get caught out on that, it could be like treason. I'm saying they're all treason now, but that's how we should see it. It's like treason of your job, definitely if it's in the government, to the people. So if you're not working for the people and you're working for just a government or for someone else, a country, then you're doing treason, because what you're doing is hurting our country. So that's classed as treason. You want to think good about it. You want to make sure it's an accident, because if it's deliberate, it's classed as treason. You know what I mean? Anyway, it takes us people that we're so connected now with the internet to either keep doing the seesaw effect or one day upgrade ourselves and finally talk about, and in a few hundred years time, it'll have to be earned over time, that we could be marked at this point, at a point where we actually got peace without a war. Wouldn't that be terrific? You reckon that's possible? You reckon we'd be able to do this with this technology that we have today and such a connection? We talk about it a lot, so it should be possible, shouldn't it? How do you think it's going to be achieved? Why won't people like it? Will it be a money factor? Will it be an ego factor of some country to another? Will it be that the rich and the 90% will just say the money doesn't want to hand it over? What will it be? Who should we see? How should we talk? What should we show to help connect? What should we say? If you look on the internet, you've pretty much got every word that we can pretty much mention said, besides technology and common sense. But it's all out there. So what could fix it? We've got a million songs, million TV programs. You have science talking about how this phone works. What could change humans' minds to think that being positive can be a good thing, better than negative? At least until there's plenty of positive around. You know what I mean? There's plenty. The balance of the evil can come in. Do you think the balance of evil all the time was happening? Is that why there's hardly any life out there? Do you think that? Or do you think life is precious? Just think about things. Or do you think the positive wins more out there? Is why we've got some precious life? Is that a positive thing? Just think about things. What are you fighting about? You're fighting about food? You're fighting about your credit cards. Why you got credit cards? You're fighting about your house payments. Why is your house so dear? Just think about things. Don't go blaming straight away. Just think, how can you solve it? First, you need to meditate. You need to think about things and it blows your mind. Shit, really, this is happening. Doing this, that. Is that what it is? And you think about things. And of course, the best way is to approach it calmly. But when you find out that such things are such ways, you do get angry. It's understandable. But if you're angry, should you approach things angry to try to fix it? Some cases, yes. But in most cases, no. Should you get someone else to approach it for you? In some cases, yes. So it all depends on what you think about in it. Meditate on it. Think about it. They say, you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. But it all depends, isn't it? Depends on who you talk to. Right? If they've got a bad rap, and in a lot of cases, you need to talk just as bad and be just as bad for them to want to listen. Right? It's all psychology, really, when you think about it. That's what the market uses against you, is psychology, numbers, factors. So if you want to get out of things, people, of your problems, you either need to stop things from using psychology and robots doing people's jobs and stuff. Like, there's such problems in the world. Or you just keep on letting it trucking. Don't say a word. It's up to you. But we all know when it comes to robots, and if that comes out and we got problems and we know where the problems could be caused by, and we know money and greed, who's going to make more of it if these things come out? Even though they say they will help you, who will it really help the most, and who's it helping now? Alright guys, have a good one. Bye bye. This clip was up, and then, like thin air, it vanished. Does it need to be thin air? You know, things can happen in thick air too, as air cannot be seen. So the air vanished out of thin air. What do you reckon? I bet you have fun doing this, because I reckon I would. You could go all day long with some theories. You'll have to pick your best. Do you do that? Do you video yourself doing what you're doing now, and then pick your best, and then re-video it? Or do you just do videos and just go, yeah, that's good enough? Which is fine. Anyone can do that. But if you want cooler or better, you gotta do more, apparently. And if you got the tools to do it, then you better use them. Have a good one. Bye. Now, what do I mean by this comment? And that is, when you drink and you carry on, you fall over and you hurt yourself, you do stupid shit, you'll get in trouble from the things you break, naturally, like you do if you just did it naturally, falling over without being on drugs or something, right? This is what people get on. You shouldn't get in trouble because you're on a drug. You get in trouble for the actions caused by the drug, or how you're reacting on that drug, right? And so when you do those actions, right, then you'll get into trouble. And you'll get into trouble because you went on drugs that made you do certain actions, and you shouldn't have went on those drugs. And that's what drugs can get you into trouble, right? But that's freedom. That's like alcohol. Alcohol's illegal. Alcohol will do this. All drugs are the same. Alcohol does the same thing, right? And so if you know you're getting that, and if that happens on a drug, you would know, oh shit, I better not have that drug again. That's how you'd learn that lesson. Shit, I shouldn't go have that much shit. That could happen. Shit, why did that happen? Maybe I need to heal something so it doesn't happen again and then give it another try. Otherwise, shit, I better do something. Otherwise, I might bound to repeat, maybe, aren't I? And if I drink again, knowing that action, then I'm even worse because I know it can happen. And so I drank and caused the incident because I know when I drink, it could cause that incident. Doesn't look good, does it? See, first timers, it's all right. But if you're not learning from your mistakes, then you're going to get into more and more trouble. And you're doing it, aren't you? Right? And that's why I believe when it comes to certain drugs, right, that they all should be legal and all used if there's a benefit, and people should be able to get it in any way they want or make it in any way they want. They're not blowing up a house. It all depends on what it is. But that's what you call true freedom. And people are allowed to make as much as they want to sell it. True freedom, just like how food was done and how first connections were done. Right? If someone doesn't want to do it themselves and want to buy it, that's their free choice. But making people only buy it, that's domination. Right? Truly is. Definitely when it comes to no sense of why you're making them, they can't do it. When they say, look, I can even do it better than you. That would make no sense, would it? And people go, no, if you can do it better than them or the same, why won't you be able to do it? Because it comes to control and domination. And the rules of those control and domination rules they've got set in place. True, people? Anyway, hopefully we've upgraded enough and we're connected enough now that we'll slowly fix these problems that we have when it comes to control and domination with the companies and for the people and the government. All get it right. Because first it goes government, then companies can do whatever. They shouldn't have, it's all the same rules, right? The only rules that they have when you're a company is that you got to make sure you do the right thing to the people, so you get more rules about doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. True? But if you get power, and it's all power and domination behind the scenes, well, we all know the story, don't we? What happens there. Anyway, people, have a good one, and see you later. Bye-bye. The only thing we can do when it comes to COVID and the side effects is to wait and see, because the damage is already done. They're not doing it really anymore when it comes to vaccinations, so we just want to pray that the damage, if there's any, is not going to be too big, because we do know that side effects can come into the future when it comes to medication and things given to us, and that's a fact. So hopefully the side effects don't outweigh what they thought they needed to do it for. But all things come out over time when it comes to needles and the medical sector and the things that play out. That's why we're meant to have massive tests for 10 years or so, or even 15 to 20 years before you want to give it to the military, if it's unless it's really necessary, because you just don't know what it's in it and where was it made and can you trust them. Other than that, we just go by the information we get over time. Have a good one. Doesn't hurt to ask questions. If I thought about it for a while and had discussions about what's possible, I'm sure that I could come up with something. So if I could do that, and I'm positive that I could, I'm sure someone out there who has a job that does things like that could come up with this too. With just a little bit of an idea and maybe someone to work with. I don't know. But I thought I'll chuck it out there. We could donate plants and we can move them to better areas, parks. We can build up parks real quick by doing such things. We can use vehicles that don't harm the environment if we can. If not, we can start somewhere, and moving a tree is just as good as moving products around that we do anyway, isn't it? That's all I got to say. Have a good one. That's my opinion, because being nice to animals and training them and connecting to them and then killing them isn't a good thing spiritually when it comes to spiritual connection. And usually when you start connecting with animals and you do a lot of it, usually it's a spiritual thing. Maybe in his case he just did it for money and didn't really like the animals. Maybe he did. Why was it 20? Maybe on the 20th he realised he shouldn't do it anymore. That's what I'm hoping. Or was it the 20th when God said no about doing what he was doing when it come to that and gave him a sign to stop? What do you reckon? Let me know in comments, people. This guy would probably get plenty too. Have a good one. Now, there's a whole big story that I'll probably talk about one day about that one, and my steering problem after I hit a kangaroo. I've always had this steering problem, pretty much since I've had the car. So the steering problem hasn't caused any problem yet, except ting, twang, and a little wiggle of the steering wheel all the time that no one could seem to find why. And you do a wheel alignment, everyone will go, oh, it needs a wheel alignment. So it's a thing like that. Besides when you turn sharp, so you're reversing out of a car park, or you turn sharply, you do a lot of turning and then turning back, you'll hear a ding, and sometimes it takes a little while before the pressure releases after the turn, and then you hear the ding. Remember that, Emma?
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah, with my steering. Right? It's always been there. And then you get a wheel alignment, and the ting's still there and that, and the problem goes away for a bit. So whatever the problem is, it loosens, it occurs the problem again. And the wheel alignment does not last just a few days, and it slowly goes out of alignment. And I have this wiggle when I hit certain speeds, like bad rims, and I constantly change my rims. There's a big story about this problem, and seen a specialist, and he went for a drive, right, to try to figure out this problem. And apparently a whole steering rack got replaced, but then the power steering mic said that it was still stock and that it looked like it had never been touched. But yet, before I seen him, insurance company was meant to have replaced it here at the holding place that I find is quite expensive and charges you a couple $100 to fix your battery problem that I've talked about, right? Things that should be fixed and that aren't quite right and unfair. But they can't be fixed unless we talk about it, can we? And my issue lasted a long time, that I got to a point where I just went, I'm over this. I'm running here, there, everywhere. Everyone's looking at me like there's nothing wrong. But there is something wrong. I've gotten witnesses of hearing it. Mick took a little while, Michael, sorry, to find the problem. Took a few, and then he heard it. And he goes, oh yeah, I see. I understand. It comes and goes. He went for a holiday on the drive on the highway, and I said, oh, the steering can come and go. It's good, perfect. Next minute it's all of a sudden, and definitely after you've done some turning thing, it's like something's loose or something, right? But nothing ever got found, right? And then they wanted me to do insurance claim again because I waited so long, because I went, no, this is not right, and tried to do all the research I can and left it for a bit and then went back to it. And because of that, they wanted the insurance claim again, and then that's when I gave up, people. I went, no, it's just not right. Right? Because why I had this same steering issue that was always seems to be there. I had another accident where I hit a pothole and I had to do another claim, so it's had two claims from it. And the steering problem just wanted to reoccur. Right? A very weird mystery. So in the end, I left it. I pretty much said to the other people, I'm going to have to wait till something happens. Like, if it's bad, I guess something bad's going to happen, right? But other than that, it's a little annoying getting this little wiggle and thing it does every now and then, but I guess I'm just going to have to put up with it. But one day, when I'm financially set and I've said this to Emma, I'm going to rip out the whole complete steering section to do anything to do with steering, right to the wheels, to make sure this problem goes away so I can drive the car and go, it's gone, right? We even thought it was the plastic grabbing the wheel and all these things because I've had the plastic already got loose, right, and rubbed, and so it was a suspect. But we made sure everything was away, and it sounds like a springer, like ding, like something getting in the spring, like springs, ding, ding. Very odd, it was, and it was hard to explain and to find. But there you go, people. A bit of a story time story, but I can explain more about that story in another future thing to talk about because it's a big thing to explain and try to get out without people getting things wrong, right? When it comes to the things that happened during that time, because it was a big thing and it never went away, and there was lots of things discussed and tried to get figured out. I even went to the spring people, go get your 5 points check, safety check, and they went, everything's all cool, the springs are all cool, right? No one ever really found this spot, and people loosened and tightened things and checked up things for me for free because they were just trying to find the issue, and I'll be like, if you find the issue we can get it fixed, but no one could really find the issue. It was shocking, wasn't it? Right? But in the end, things got fixed, but not the thing that was always there from the start. How odd is that? But anyway, have a good one, and bye-bye. Good luck with those questions, and see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hope that helps. Bye-bye. G'day everybody. Now when it comes to governments having to right to seize assets. Now when wars start, governments can come in and take your shit to help out in the war and stuff like that. So a crisis could be also when things just ain't right and they can't seem to get out of it kind of thing. And the best way to get out of it is to seize assets to fix things, to speed things up or something like that. True? So governments can do this in many different ways too when it comes to problems they are having. They just need to think about it and then see what you can do, isn't it? Because you're meant to make it happen for the people. And if we find out we can't get holes done because it apparently costs money, well, we'll go, well, look at all that machinery over there. We'll ask humans we couldn't get these holes done, huh? No, it doesn't make sense, does it? Right. So we need to get certain things done properly so we can grow food for the farmers and all that, and channel water, and so they can just have it, right? We should be able to get it so there's so much friggin' water, right? Because we're so good at it. Right, we can eventually, in the future, for our kids in 50 years or so, have so much water that the farmers can take whatever they want. It's free. Water's free. Just we got a so supply that we've got more than we need. Isn't that the goal we're meant to go for? But of course, if people want to control people on that, they wouldn't want that goal. True, right? Because they want the domination. But there's domination you can field in. You can go for in lots of different sectors, right? But when it comes to necessities and stuff like that, come on, we're all wise enough now in the age now. We're not barbaric as much now, where we can at least have necessities to be a government assisted kind of thing, or funded kind of thing, right? And make sure it gets done, so everyone's got their necessities, right? So people can not have to worry about not having food and a home and all that if they do the right thing. So if everyone's doing the right thing, like some people are now, and people aren't, but food runs out and things happen, whose fault's that? Why do the people do the right things when we're having no food? Because the government hasn't got more than enough in that sector where those things are failing. And if they don't, it's because it could be for control. So we need to think about things. And if it's not, we've got to fix the sector, which is what we're starting to do, isn't it, around the world? Hopefully. Fix these sectors, right? And things shouldn't be private owned in these certain sectors, really at all, unless it's connected to the government and the government has total rights over what's going on and how they build it, stuff like that. Huh? Anyway, have a good one and see you later. Bye bye. Because, private companies can build, but as long as they do what the government says, and they can have a little bit of a profit of whatever they're doing, like the government gets profit of what they're doing when it comes to these sectors, and the government puts it back for the people. Well, if it gets to a point where there's lots of it there and the government's a little overloaded, it's like getting a contract, isn't it, for a while. So you can contract a private person for maybe 20 years or something like that, and then you can find out in the future if you need to contract another private person for a power plant or a road or things like that, as they've been doing. Right? That's how I say. Anyway, bye. Oh, did I talk about and digging the holes? I didn't get to talk about that. But anyway, that'll be self-explanatory, really, when it comes to digging holes, isn't it? Because it's pretty cheap. And we'll find where we need to dig them and where we need to channel them. Anyway, bye. G'day everybody. Back with some comments and questions and some answers for you too. How's that? So tell me again, how does nature let you down? Huh? So when the weather's not perfect, I guess that's nature letting you down. But if the weather was perfect all the time, which no rain, always sun, like I don't know what, perfect is different for some people. Some people like rain too. But you can imagine if it was always just sunny and perfect, there would be, no real crops or anything. Nothing will really function. And so that's why we have weather. Without wind, you don't get thick stems, right? Wind's there for a reason too. And everything's there to teach, show, and science means reality, right? And so when it comes to nature, nature can never be wrong. because you live in it. Your nature, we're part of it. So it's not wrong. You're wrong having a whinge that it's wrong. It's not so perfect or whatever. It's not evolving around your thinking. Right? And after all that, what do you do for nature? And how kind are you to nature? Where nature might want to help you. Do you just do a little 1 day thing out of 300 days and then hope that nature's kind to you because you did that 1 day's work kind of thing? You know what I mean? Are you a balance to nature? So you're always with nature. Right? So you don't need to do that one good thing because you're not destroy. Oh, hang on, I better do something good because all I do is destroy. No, you can be a person that always destroys but always makes it better straight away, keeps a balance. What are you with nature? Why do we laugh at our failures? And we laugh at truths that we know that we need to change, but we'd rather just laugh at it than next year it's still there and we're laughing at it. Is it a culture thing? You know, some people laugh because of pain. When they have pain, they rather laugh to get over it because they don't want to think about it. Could it be that? Do we all just don't want to think about it, so we rather laugh? Oh no. But there's laughter in courage. When you laugh, do people might think, well, it can't be that bad then. He's laughing. They're laughing. Right? So is it a good thing to laugh when you shouldn't laugh? Unless they know that that's what you do. Why can't you tell rich people to be different? Well, I know it goes around all the time. You'd probably hear something today if you want to go have a look. The rich people will say, well, why do I need to change because I'm rich? Definitely if you try to tell someone that you're not as rich as them to change and that they're not doing things right, they will laugh at you. Why is that? Because they say, world revolves around money, not about doing the right thing. And if you want to have a comfortable life in this world, it's not about doing the right thing. It's about achieving money. True? In the most case. Right? So good luck with your debates with people with money and getting them to change. You would have to force them to change, or a law or something like that, like they like to use to get their money. Okay? What I'm just talking about pretty much in this one. Money. And when it comes to making money, it doesn't matter if it's righteous or not, does it? And do you think that most people make money out there righteously or non-righteously to make more money? And to make more money and out in this world, do you think you can make more money unrighteously than doing it righteously? I laugh at that. So do you guys, don't we? Because we all know that being deceivious can make more money. True. Ripping off and not being so nice. You get it? Right? But you can still make money and still function and be more loving, but they don't care about that, and people like you more than people hate you and move on. But it's all about money. It's all about who's going to have the most money in the end and fight for the resources. That the one with the most money will have all the resources, so they could be still on top. That's how they think. That's their reality. Just have all the resources and people on your side and feed them with money, and I'll be all cool. I can do what I want. To a certain limit of tricks, of course. They might get caught, some of them do. People, whatever you look up to or hang around, you're more likely going to be. Humans' bad trait is to copy. We're better copiers than thinkers, than creators. Right? There's more copiers out there. That's how that system works. And can see, be taught and copy than to think up. Thinking up new things is harder than to just copy. True? So things are already unrighteous and going that way, and they talk about how much money you can make better than that one, right? And how much better life you will have. then what's going to happen? People will follow that same thing. They will say they have to as well, instead of changing. Like some countries say we need another country for their resources as we don't have it. But can you have it? Or you don't have it because you just literally don't have it. You can't build metal because you can't get metal at all, kind of thing. That means you can't have it. But most time you can have it. And why do you need it off them? And how long do you need it off them? And you're going to keep getting it off them? Or is it just for a little while you can figure it out yourself? Because what's the best way to be? Independent, definitely when it comes to the main products. So that way if anything goes wrong, your country can still function within itself with the main products. It just might not get the new laptop for a year or two, because that's what it will come to. If you can stick to the main products for yourself, you'll only have to worry about not having the latest technology. That is it. And we can share with that. Anyway. Of course, when it comes to metals and resources, we already have some. Some countries might have more than others, but that doesn't mean you can't do better than them with the resources you got. People prove that. Doesn't mean you got more resources, doesn't mean you do better. It's about being wise with the resources. When I had a purpose and I thought I was on the right path and I thought I was going to get somewhere, it makes you more happy and want to keep pursuing. But then as soon as you notice or you go through that they won't listen or what you say cannot be said, then it makes you not want to do it. Makes you give up. If others don't want to know, you can't change others. And my purpose in that case was to connect to others and to change the things in the world. If you can't communicate and connect others properly in that sector, then you just get down, right? And I get a bit down because I wanted to have my say about the law that they use, the police, when it comes to marijuana, just saying that you've had it, even though that you're not dangerous. But they declare you dangerous is untrue, and I wanted to say my say, but they don't allow that. So that makes me down. That's one of many things the last year that's made me go, why bother? It's like being a caged animal, true? If that's happening to you. Like I was just talking about, the laws like to enforce. So the government thinks if we're going to get them to change, we'll either tell them that's what's happening, like I just talked about with a test that doesn't really declare that you are unsafe to drive, but they will declare that you are because you've had something before, right? And they're not happy that you've had it. That's the true fact of that test, is that they know that you've had something and they're not happy about it, so they're going to take your license away. And I said to them, they might as well just advertise that and just give us the truth instead of trickery behind the scenes, trying to make it out that we're dangerous when we're not. So it's up to the laws, isn't it? And the people who allow those laws to happen. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good one, everybody. And see you later. Bye-bye. And I hope you like the way I explain things when it comes to my comments. And what did you think of my comments, if you ever seen them before this? Bye. When it comes to the property damage I did with the chainsaw, I already got taken to court by the real estate that I stay at, right? About that incident, because it was property damage onto the real estate property, right? I already went to court about that. The person themselves living there haven't taken me to court about it. They called the police. But yeah, I've been taken to court about it, and court classed that I wasn't dangerous, right? And they passed it. I'm still allowed to live here, and what happened because certain reasons. And then after behind the scenes, because this person didn't like to hear that, they took me to court again where they knew I couldn't turn up. They knew I couldn't turn up. Then they got their outcome. Would you call that bullying and harassment? And this person is already, I've got on film claiming that I did something, and I've got proof that I didn't, but they want to believe they did, right? They assume and then attack. And that's not good. Definitely if you're in a job profession, eh? And because of that, I have another person I deal with in that sector. I don't have to deal with this person anymore, but they went behind the scenes and attacked me, and now I'm dangerous to them. And I haven't seen them since the last video clip that I did when it comes to the things I'm talking about. And I've never been dangerous to this person, except maybe to their job. That's it. And now if I go near them, I get locked up. That's what the system allows, people. And that's the truth. And that's what's happening. And that's what I've got. Have a good one. See yous. Now remember, people, if you're just a newbie into this tarot reading, is that if you're naughty in it, right, even if there's a good part in it, right, so if you are good in it, but you start being naughty, what happens? And you can read the future, right? This could just be out of a movie if you want, or whatever you want to do, make it real. Some people say it's real. Is what happens is you read your own future, and you don't even know. It's just how it goes. It's a thing where it get back at you for betraying, right? It's like if you betray God, you'll think something's good happening, and the next minute you're dead, right? And you think you got an upper, right? But anyway, here's some questions that I hear from these particular tarot readers all the time about, oh, they asking questions all the time and all this. How do they know that they're asking questions? Do they go, this is a question, I need to know, I don't understand, please explain? Do they do that? I need to know, I don't know myself. So you're going, oh, they're asking me all these questions like a little kid would be doing, kind of thing, because you know they don't know. Is that what's going on? Or is it people twisting words, right? And just see a question mark like this, like I'm just talking about, and go, oh, they're asking all these questions. Are they dead dumb? You know, people think like that. Shitloads, definitely problems just out of school, and they think they know everything and stuff like that. They open their mouth a lot. And we all do as we, you know, go through life. We fuck up, we think we know something, we don't. But people, some out there do more than others when it comes to that. Okay, they say, you know, if I'm a reader, I can read whoever I want, no matter who I'm reading. Even if I'm not communicating back, even if I go, oh, this could be the collective, or this is someone here, or something like that, and just confuse the fuck out of people and shit like that. Even though I don't give anyone any real answers about who I am or what I do, I just blab my mouth. And people love it. Good for you, that's what I say. If that's the case, good for you. They love it, good for them. And that's the truth. Right? Like how they say in some of these things, well, I've got the money, I'm getting the money, they're watching me, they're not watching you. Well, if they're hearing me too, have they heard me? And if they heard me and they're definitely not watching me and they're watching you, that's cool. But if they haven't heard me and they're just watching you, but they're hearing me, you talk about me or talk about bad people that I talk about that might help them hear that you might be wrong, right? And you're all just ganging up on people, right? Then they're not hearing me, are they? You know what I mean, people? Maybe YouTube's putting up videos, but you can't hear them. Maybe people are seeing it, but not hearing it. You know what I mean? Because I get that from people. I can't hear your clips. So this might be just another clip that goes up, not me speaking, and we'll find out in the future what happens. I'll make sure I mention it at court, so if you ever want to know, you can just go get my courts and you'll find out some information that they might just try to keep hidden. And if you see something dodgy in the court and something edited or something, well, there you go. Nothing ever changes when it comes to what they show on movies and what happens in real life kind of thing, eh? If you got money, you can do anything. They say that in movies and everything else like that. Is it really true in real life? Or is it the ones that go down in real life with money is because someone else with money didn't like them and that's the only way it happens? You know what I mean? Alright people, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good one and see you later. And hopefully one day someone will give me a really decent comment back and say, mate, you're doing a good job in the shit you do. Bye bye. G'day everybody. Just want to talk about a couple of comments here, as it might help out some people understand things. Now when it comes to karma, you can't believe in God and not karma. That just sounds stupid. Right? So that's why I read that. And when it comes to self-harm, that's like smoking cigarettes, having a bad diet, not doing enough exercise, things like that. Now when it comes to those things, because they're freedom, right? And God's not meant to control freedom. No one in a freedom country should control freedom. But we don't have that, of course, on this planet. I've discussed that about the false freedom. We've got so far of freedom, but not true freedom. Right? No one in any country does. Right? As all governments at the moment like to control their people, even though they're there for their people. And they're meant to have free will. But rules get bent constantly, right, and twisted, right? As I would have to change a few things if I got in to show what free will means, right, for people, and free speech, right? So when it comes to self-harm, like cigarettes and the things I was just talking about, you're not meant to as a government, unless the people have asked. So if the people are asking for help in that sector, right, and they want you to do something like put up the prices for them, or get rid of them altogether, a cigarette product or something like that, as most of the people do not want it there, they can vote for things like that. But when the government just does it behind the scenes or makes decisions, which they're allowed to apparently, and people don't really get to see who's going to not want to whinge about it, like they do these things behind the scenes and make people not want to watch them and stuff like that, so they don't really know, they only advertise what they want you to know and stuff like that, because things happen, like when it comes to noise complaint, people can do noise complaints at any time. Like, I bet you if anyone heard that was going to come out and I was going to get a piece of paper like that, no one would vote for that, right? These are laws that I'm talking about that they just do, right? And they do it on your behalf. They're small laws and they can be changed again, but they do it on your behalf, and they do it for your benefit and for an experiment to see if it's going to work or better, because if it doesn't, they change it back, right? But why they do it in the first place, that's what you need to think about on some of these laws, right? And how does having anyone complain at any time when it comes to noise complaint benefit anybody, except anybody can complain on anybody and make each other attack each other, really, when you think about it. It will benefit that kind of thing, right? But anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. But that's what happens. God will judge if you smoke too much or whatever. And when you get to heaven, you'll have to talk to him about that. Or hell, wherever you think you might go because of the things that you do. But you won't go to hell for self-harming. I can tell you that. You might get another retest, right? But you won't be going to hell for self-harm. Hell's usually with the points of harming others. The more you affect others, the more likely you're a bad person than just self-harm. And so in God's eyes, he wouldn't raise costs or anything like that, or be unfair of what people could have. Definitely if they've got a good debate about certain situations, right? Otherwise, that is called control. It's their way, and that is it. They don't care, which is control. True, people? So God will keep the bad ones stuck soon. So all the people that like to keep people stuck because they like it, as these people say in certain tarot readings and stuff like it, they like doing what they do. Eventually, I believe, or in the afterlife, right, that they will be stuck. They'll be stuck somewhere. Maybe in the afterlife for a long time. Well, we get to generate a few times and they have to wander around. Imagine that. 70-80% done. That was me leopard work that I was talking about. I mentioned a little bit about 70% earlier today is what I wanted to achieve, and I got to there. And I get to there with a lot of things and keep a lot of things like that in other areas, definitely if you're being watched or copied. So you'd want to do such things too when you're picking. Anyway, hope that helps and have a good one. Bye-bye. Everybody thinks differently, definitely in different countries. And we have different religions too, on how we would see and fight back. As if we're very religious, like a country could be, or a group, they might look at things differently than your very religious or might be seen group or country, or how you perceive things. So when it comes to America, in Iraq might have done the wrong thing being angry to strike the embassy or the target there in America, at the Americans, sorry, and they would like to see a better. If you're a peaceful person, a peaceful country, and you're in another country, and another country gets upset and damages something in their country that you owned, how would you show that you're peaceful? Would you get upset instantly and attack and a bomb them? Or would you want to discuss why that situation happened? So you'd want to research first, you wouldn't jump into anything. But you hear here, they do an instant retaliation. So does that mean they were right why they attacked the Americans, and now the Americans are quickly attacking back? Is there a problem about control or getting controlled over there at the moment that people don't know 100% more about than what we've already heard? But anyway, I don't want to get into too much because I haven't been writing to all the news and all that. I've been out of a lot of it as much as I can, but I do get involved every now and then. And I thought that that was pretty damn stupid of a move. But anyway, that's my opinion. And so I put some comments down. And only the future will tell who's right or who did the right thing and what happened. But I know one thing when it comes to if you're a peaceful country or try to show that you're peaceful, is you never retaliate straight away unless you know 100% that you're right, or you already had a hunch about that situation and you already know you're right. Otherwise, you should always be patient and research and find out what happened before you make any big moves that might make you look bad by retaliating and killing straight back. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye. Now I want to talk about some comments that I sent to a Pacific reader that they love to talk about the collective. They go, this is not a personal reading, even though I've heard some personal readings live to people that sounds just like collective reading, so I don't know what they mean by that. But anyway, what does a collective reading mean to them? So that means it's for everybody. So the things they say, and if it's paranoia, they're going to send out the paranoia for everybody, is it? Right? Is it for the ones that are paranoid? Right? Is it for the ones that want to date? Is it the ones that need to leave their husbands, so they need someone to talk some shit to give them some ideas to leave them, make them paranoid over stuff? Is it the ones for the ones that families that someone gets the inheritance, and so someone in the family would hear a reading similar to this one here about them stealing your inheritance and then get paranoid? Oh shit, I heard this reading and then it's into their home, oh my god! What do you reckon? You reckon it can cause a lot of that? Because what is a collective reading? As far as I know, these people, these tarot readers, most of them, right? They're collective, as far as I'm concerned. They call themselves a collective, right? They say they're healers. They say information people need to hear, right? And if you hear something, you can do a comment. They might comment you back, because I've never got one, except a love heart and some I love you and some crazy shit. I've posted up on my little thing, so you can have a look. But anyway, spell work. Now, we know spells is fake, isn't it? Myth, a legend, right? An old thing, right? And we got tricksters that do spells and that, but it's all science, right? It's a machine or something, right? Other than that, it's yourself. Maybe if you can think better than someone else, it's not a spell to make you think better. It's just you're different than someone else kind of thing. But spell work. And then you talk about it like it's real. Like they're pretty good at it, don't you think, people? Check out their things. They will talk like the shit's real, right? For entertainment. It's entertainment, don't forget. Because all this is fake. And you wouldn't be able to get away with having it up on YouTube unless you tell YouTube it's entertainment, right? So we can all use these clips for every way we want because it's a collective reading, right? So it's for everybody. So when I use these clips, they technically can't even say anything about it because it's for everybody. It's them. They're giving it out. Like when I give out advice and go, there you go, I hope you just give me a pat on the back for it or something, some recognition, right? Like they would if they helped you out, which they're gambling by saying stories and hopefully it relates, which is true, right? But being real readers, real people who can read minds and shit, where are they? Why aren't they working for the government? And if they are, shit, why isn't things working good? They must be working for the evil side then, eh, people? Because what's going on? Are they blocked? No. Did the evil people keep these ones away and only make them work for them? Because if they ever try to go by themselves, they will block them somehow. Definitely if they start off with nothing. True people in this world? I reckon that could be possible. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Sorry about that. I'll leave up a little picture for you. And I'll see if I get a comment back on this. I won't. Right? Because what I'm speaking is the truth, people. Right? And I'm on here to speak the truth. Not on here for entertainment. And not on here to make money with good thing. We're all here to make money some way. I'm righteous. So if I do righteous things on here and make money, I guess that's righteous money, isn't it? But apparently that's hard to make. I've been trying to talk about that for the last few years about can you make money righteously without the devil coming in and going, no, you fucking don't. I'm going to do it this way and you're just going to get nowhere. Because everyone don't care that I do it this way as long as they get the goods and stuff. You get it, people? Anyway, we'll move on. Seeing the right things. The right thing. You know, I always say that to people. I'm like, you know, don't you understand the right thing? Would you want that done on you? And, you know, would you want to hear that if someone did get an inheritance in the family and you thought you might have got jibbed out? Would you want to hear that someone's jibbed you when they haven't? Because would that make you paranoid? Things like that, people, is what I'm talking about. And I come up with a million of these things. That's just on this clip that I'm talking about, right? Because I don't want to get into it. It'll make people paranoid. It doesn't heal at all. These words do not heal. They're not healing words. We can go and listen to wisdom. People talk about wisdom and way more healing than this kind of thing. So don't claim that there's certain things. And this person might not say it, but I can guarantee if I had the power to check up things, these people talk to each other. It's their collective. What do you think they're saying? They won't communicate to me to find out these real answers, but people out there will know. Because I'm just locked up here. I'm all by myself and only certain people can communicate with me. Right? That's what I believe. Right? Until at this point. Why do I believe that? Because of the half the shit I hear these people say since I've started talking with them about YouTube and about being connected to them. And if you don't go their way, you get nowhere. And you know what? I believe that. They're proving it to me too. Right? You can show all sorts of shit on here. But if they think they can't get a contract on you or can't control you in some way, that's how I believe. They don't even come and speak to you for real. If they've got some suspicion that they can't, that's what I'm believing, because I have no reason why they haven't yet, right? You're not part of it. Who wants to be in such a thing like? That's like a bully family to me. I wouldn't want to be in it. So I'll just be in the background here. It's cool. I'll be here. Don't pay me. I don't give a fuck, right? At least I got my word out. At least I know what I'm saying. And God can hear it if you believe in God, right? At least I know I'm doing the right thing, doing reports and trying to get people to communicate me first before any major attacks when it comes to police or court, right? At least I want to get the truth first, then I'll make my decision, right? Might say things at home that they might hear through the phone and stuff, right? But that's what everyone does. We vent, we talk, options. Doesn't mean we do it. We don't do things until we get the full truth. True? So if a family betrays you over money, they're not family. You know what? I've seen people betray people, and I've talked about a story about a person getting shot by a stepfather over $100 because of money. That's why money can be root of all evil. It can make you do stupid shit and think stupidly about money. Right? And money, it should be at least thousands of dollars, and them saying they'll never pay you back and other things like that before you ever have a go at your family. And then you're going to think, how much good times and what do you want to miss over this? Is it worth paying and then never give them money again? Because a lot of families do that in the end. You learn your mistake, right? But you don't do it to people you don't know and stuff. You go sue them, of course. But when it comes to family, you know someone that might not be able to pay it and might just help them too. You just move on, you forgive. You can forgive people you love better. So who do you love? And friends you can love, you like the most, you really look up to. You'd go try to pull them out of a burning car. That kind of thing. Date people. They're good at talking about dates and stuff. So I say they should be people that should have a show talking about what people go through when it comes to relationships. What do you reckon? And pretty much what I've already said. I finished off at the end there. What can make people paranoid? Anyway, and you don't want to spread that because then you'll become known as people that make people paranoid and are not advised to listen to. True. Anyway, have a good one and see you later. Bye-bye. Now I hope this clips up the right way. It does have a little line in here that rotates all the time automatically. And I try to stop it the right when it faces one way, but sometimes it's completely upside down, sideways. Can't help that. It has its own mind, this phone, and I try my best to notice things. If it does, it does. And when it comes to people who want to do more into something, and you love it, like I know these farmers love what they're doing, and they're proud of it, and they prefer to keep on doing it, right? Then you should support work like that. Or you should find out why they can't get work, because it's them. And we don't want them to lose them if they're proud to be them. Definitely if them does not harm anybody. Just they're not fitting in. So why aren't them fitting in? So you go discuss things and you find out things. And then if you find out that people don't want around you at all and you can't be you anymore, and it can happen, then you do make the decision of changing. That's the logical thing and the correct thing to do. But if you haven't done all that and you decide to do a decision a bit earlier because of depression and just not feeling right, can't think, and you haven't got enough support around you, then you might make wrong decisions. So how do we stop people from making these wrong decisions? Do we have a government official that if they definitely hear stories like that, they will turn up and make sure things are right and talk the way I just did to find out certain things? Because that'll be good to have. Because if we have that, then these farmers that get these problems, or people that get certain problems, they can rely on the news to take their story. So hopefully the news will always take stories like this too, because it's truth and it's things we need to figure out. Right? And the news person might ask some of these questions before they do a story. And if they say, yes, I did all this and people do want, and I still don't understand why things are happening, maybe the other milk's too cheap, right? And you have to go higher because of other circumstances in the government in your sector, in your section, right? Then maybe you need to go discuss to them, as people do, as this farmer was talking about other costs. And if we can fix those costs, could that farmer still be the farmer? Maybe the farmer has to go back to be a farmer a bit later, once these things are fixed, or can we fix all these things at once? Can someone go in, or a group, like at COVID time, and go, let's be serious, and let's make this, and let's make that, however long it takes, we're going to be on to it, until we can make it so we can come in and fix things. As I am been hearing a lot lately when it comes to our Parliament House, mentioning about it. So if we keep on this path, people, I think everything could be okay, and this farmer should be okay, and you'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. Have a good one, everyone, and bye-bye. See ya. Now, we know that companies that supply money to the government, so the government allows these companies, the government has fault of why things happen and why things are low in certain areas, as the government has screwed up and allowed to get to that position. Right? We all know this, because we're here. So to fix such a position, what the government needs to do, and other companies that are big companies, and all companies to do with that use nature or harm or affect nature with smoke or whatever it does. And it does its best ability not to do that. Why it can, if it still needs to exist, is it needs to give back to nature as much as it destroys. It needs to be part of maybe their tax system, as they mentioned, right, to help give back. And the more they give back, in the end, the more it'll help the environment and them, because we'll all learn together to keep things right, won't we? We'll make sure that companies can still thrive and be a company, and companies that we get rid of will make sure, like a real estate, where we can offer them another way or another company to be, so they don't panic and worry what are they going to do next. Because I understand that's what could happen with companies. They go, well, where am I going to go? And it's like getting kicked out of home, isn't it? And so what the government can offer, if we're going to take you down, and it's because we're changing and we did use you and we needed you, we're going to offer you a new business, a new start. That's what we do. And what you do is you close down your business and you get offered the new idea and new way you can start with the money being shut down. And the government will pay for your building to shut down, right? And then you could use that money to start a new business and put more into it if you think you need to. It's like starting a new business. So offering to pay for the business is a pretty good deal when it comes to helping the environment to go towards the new. Something like that anyway. I'd have to get more into it when it comes to how much you could offer. But that's a start, isn't it? Something like that. Because no one wants to lose out, right? And when the government is frozen on the people and companies, they get upset and then they do other things behind the scenes, and you don't want all that, where they like to take over things, right? Because when it comes to main rules and stuff like that, and who owns what and what they're allowed to do, the government should always have the last say and the right to do what they need to do to make things right for not only the people who own the company, but for everybody when it comes to certain rules. That's my opinion. Let me know in comments what you think. Have a good one. Now, old people are full of wisdom, and they've all got their own different wisdom. Depends on what life they've experienced. But we all suck up wisdom, and old people are usually a good spot to find wisdom. Definitely if you don't have the internet. That's how we used to pass on wisdom, was through old people. But not all old people are wise. So you got to find the wise man. And why I say about old people should fight more often is that when it comes to all the laws and all the problems we have, isn't it caused by the previous generations? And so all this wisdom should be used. And old people and people with wisdom usually got all the money and they know how to do things. So you would think when it comes to big changes that it should be old people doing that, hey? So it's younger people that are doing old people. Why is that happening now? Is it because when you get old, you actually start giving up on life and don't truly really care to put in the physical effort? So you can just talk, because talking's cheap and easy, right? And you've got the wisdom, so that's fine. But it's hard to go all the way and want to fight. And why? Because when you go all the way, it's harder and can be riskier. And why take that risk when you're already old? You know what I mean? So maybe that's the problem. I'll have to ask more old people when it comes to that. Why that happens a lot. And why I have that theory. Have a good one, people. See yous. I was gonna talk about a certain thing a while back. I started to do it, but no one wanted to listen to my story. So you know what I learnt in life? Sometimes it's best to keep them things to yourself because some people should know certain things and maybe need to find out themselves in this life or the next. That's my opinion. And everybody has their own opinion, don't they? Just like he doesn't want to get involved in politicians or anything like that. Well, that's him being himself and independent. You can still be yourself and independent, but get involved with things. And if it gets too much for you, then you can bail out if it's going to be life risky or something like that. Other than that, you always try and you always say you say. Have a good one. Well, I'm glad I found this guy and he's going around asking people about cannabis. That was something I was going to do a bit later if I needed to. But I was hoping other people would, as it'll save me doing it and I can do other things. But I'll certainly support what he's doing and put in my thoughts on it too. So, I said to him to check out what I put up. He's pretty much said a lot of questions. He might have already checked out my page or heard about something. Who knows? I'm not going to get into that. Best to see people face to face to find out certain questions later. I'm glad that guy talked about that marijuana is not worse than alcohol and that he sees the science of it when he asked a fella a question. I believe cannabis should be legalised as it'll make it better than make it worse, in my opinion. Might even make people not drink so much and have these drunk drivers driving around doing stupid things that they can't even remember doing the next day. Imagine that guilt that you can't even remember the next day. It's a pretty bad drug, eh? At least there should be another drug where at least you might have most memory or bits of the memory because, you know, you hear about all the other drugs. You might fuck around with you, but you'll remember, right? You won't totally forget like alcohol can do, give you total blanks, right? Definitely when it comes to marijuana. And you can't overdose on it either. So it'll save many, many lives, in my opinion. Everything can be addictive, including shopping and all that kind of stuff. You know, as an old lady, as people were talking about, wanting to talk about that it's addictive. But everything's addictive. So that's not the subject we're talking about. The subject we're talking about is about marijuana and should it be legalised. Not about should we just say, oh, it could be addictive, which is pretty much saying they don't want it around because they're worried that people will get stuck on it. You should be worried about people getting stuck on lots of things, and people are. That's the big main key factor when it comes to addictive, really. First, we fix our lives all around the world and have a great life. Then we talk about addictive parts. That's how usually you'd want to see that subject. So if you're in a perfect world, everything's going good, and marijuana is the biggest problem, then you'd want to mention about addictive. True? That's why people need to be more educated in different ways. People are just too much repeating on TV shows, seeing too much repeat. Could be the problem, not wanting to learn, not enough different stuff to learn as the repeat happens on normal TV, and most people watch normal TV. Could be a factor of why people don't get to see or understand or get educated enough, in my opinion. Where we can do better to educate the people out there about all sorts of things. It's like shopping. You know how much you can spend and handle any addiction. So education helps that, and a good life and people around you to help you with the decisions you do, including shopping and smoking or any addiction, swearing, all that kind of stuff. Is that the people around you and the group that you hang out with usually helps you in that area, unless they have the problem too, which causes a mass problem, doesn't it? Which is what we're finding. Why is that? Maybe because the daddy, the government, is being a hypocrite. And if they're being a hypocrite, people might want to be a hypocrite too. If they're lying, people might want to lie. If they're not showing the truth, people might not want to show the truth. You understand? So the best example to fix that kind of problem is to start from the top to set an example about truth and honesty and the right things. Instead of control, and raising money for control. And where does that money really truly go, and does it help later on too? When they do such things, or is that just another way to make money? Once again, you don't want to be a hypocrite when it comes to subjects. It makes you really look stupid or controlling, as far as I'm concerned. And you don't want that. Definitely if you're a government. True? Anyway, if you get in the subject real and be real about things, and that's what the government needs to do, is make real tests when it comes to not having dodgy, unfair tests like with your license. They can figure it out. I've talked about many different reasons, things that they can do to show if you're stoned or not. First, you can start off with the old classic, like they did with the alcohol, walk the line, how you acting, and they can use other devices like phone to see your eyes, and eyes might be another factor. But that all because the eyes can show how stoned you are, and they don't change until you get to a certain level, usually. But it can help. Certain devices can all help, and you go from there. As they might even use clear eye, but you can go through tests to see if you can still pick it up after people have used clear eye. That's what science is. We find a way, we make it right, and we put it out. Till then, if it's not right, we do the basics that is at least true, which is walk the line and figure it out that way, how the person is actually acting. And then you can go from there of how you should charge them because they're stoned. And you'll see it, obviously, right, of how they're acting, and also with the test saying they've had it. So that helps. It doesn't confirm, right, that they are. But it will help at court if you wanted to take them to court, from showing like if they're drunk but you couldn't prove that they're drunk but you know they are, you use the same consent, right? So if they say you're not stoned, like in my case, right, which he was right, he's not lying, and I'll back him up on that, and in saying it's just a test and it's the way it works, he shows you that it's not meant to happen when it comes to am I dangerous as a driver. No, I was not. Anyway, have a good one, people, and see you later. And I hope this helps you too, mate, as I only work with people, not against people. And if it doesn't help you, let me know. Bye. Well, I sure hope I get a comment back from this fella. Send him a few. I hope he likes the way I present it. I like to get people to think differently, eh? You say do things differently and stuff. This is certainly a different way to approach things. Hopefully one day I'll ask him what he thinks of how I approach him with my questions. Did it get him thinking? Did he get it? He sounds like a fella that, talks like he should get this. So I want to know. How do you get someone to talk? Questions like this, maybe? I'm happy to answer them and talk back. Is he? See you later. Bye-bye. Don't you think a lot of companies and the governments have got bigger fish to fry instead of so much controlling? You know what I mean, people? Well, why do we see more about the controlling before they worry about the big fries and other things? Just something to get you thinking. Is it that we all want it collectively deep down inside and we don't really want to speak the truth? Is why the things that happen continually keep happening? Have a good one. Baby steps.
Did your wife's illness have anything to do with you taking this job, or did you just fall prey to the service's big recruiting push? When it comes to, how the hell you ended up out here.
When it comes to critical things, it's baby steps. But make sure you keep going.
I saw the job in the paper and figured, what the heck?
That's how you get it done right.
I've got no ties and no life.
Research and baby steps. And don't give up.
Something like that.
Over time, year, shouldn't take too long. Beyond the things, it should be solved.
Oh, you're talking about that giant fire that probably caused some damage. Turned an entire jamboree.
The more we can interact people, the better outcome we'll get.
Should.
You don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do you?
Bye-bye.
I
What's true connection? True connection usually is sharing of knowledge. That's why we connect, is why we get along, why animals connect with us, is what they get out of it. Because if you don't get nothing out of it, you don't need to connect. Like we don't connect to ants and stuff like that so much, right? Because we don't really get any benefit of what ants can do for us, right? Then what we can't get from just watching them, right? You can watch them and benefit. And the ants won't fight back from taking what they've learnt, right? But when it comes to cultures, how do your culture connect with another culture without getting all upset that they're not stealing or being them? Well, you have to connect in some way by being the same, because you need to connect, so there's got to be similarities. So you go 50-50 if you can, or no more than that, otherwise it's pushing one narrative to the other, isn't it? But you certainly need a connection to connect and talk, right? In either art, which is the way you design it. It's happened all around the world where cultures have met and then gone and used a little bit of their culture in their new culture design. It's happened all around the world, right? And so what I'm doing is I've showed some art that I've made to help connect with me, as I'm from a different culture, but I live here, I was born here. So I'm now what they call an Australian, which we're trying to figure out what exactly is an Australian and what can you do as an Australian to feel like you're an Australian, right? But anyway, we have a divide here with our culture between the ones that have come here and the ones that were here before us. And I thought, how can I connect with that culture? I used to do the same thing they did when I used to talk to them. And my mum used to do daycare with Aboriginals. And I used to do Aboriginal art because they did. And I was there at the time, connecting and doing what they did. Right? And I wouldn't want to get too much better at it, as sometimes, because it's their culture, they might feel intimidated by that. Right? If you ever do, don't they? But it doesn't matter how good you do theirs, it's just their culture, right? You expect someone maybe to do a little bit better that's not them, because maybe they haven't gotten better yet. They've practiced longer and things like that. It's got nothing to do with the culture itself. But what I did is, like I said, I'm starting a new thing where I'm a place that's loving and also connecting. Would always try to connect first, won't put down, and loves to share, right? And with such of a culture like that you want to have and create, because we all want to create our own cultures, and all cultures get created and groups move on, right? Is that I wanted to connect, and the best way to show that connection is, and to do connections, is to either have meals, give gifts, talk about what you've done, why you do the meal, so on. And so what I've done is I did some artwork here, as you can see, to do with all sorts of cultures for my way of connecting and how I see my connection with that culture, with stories too. But if anyone wants to take that any other way, it's because they're attacking and they're not a culture that maybe likes to connect. Anyway, I thought I'd just chuck that out as I just watched the video here that I've commented on about Australian women, Aboriginal women, feeling that they don't understand that. Well, they can always show us that. The best way to understand someone is you don't tell them. You just be you and go watch us. Understand us. Anyway, have a good one and bye-bye. Now, I know mining is a good way to make money, right? And we do need to mine, and mine in a good, efficient way to the environment. And we can, right? And we can do that without making so much money, because we can make more money just mining, right? We can make more money if we can keep things behind the scenes when it comes to mining, true? But it causes all these problems later in the future when they do such things, doesn't it? Right? So it's not a good idea. It's best to just mine right. Right? And I'm not saying mining's not one of the biggest part of our income. It is, right? And it gives people jobs, and we do need to mine, right? But are we mining right when we go to kick it into high gear? Because when it comes to finance in a country, as far as I'm concerned, you'd get finance better, not just because you can do, means let's get gas because it's there and all this, even though we know it harms the environment, and in the end it's just as bad as it is good, so it's best just to leave it alone kind of thing. And if there's a natural accident, we can harvest things to prevent bigger accidents and be able to use the material in a more filtered way, right, when it comes to gas and fracking, okay, because we shouldn't have to do certain things, because we have other technologies and materials that we can use if we put our heads together and start at a starting point. True? Now, if we're a country that people love, then we should get all the opportunities in the world to show what we do, as we're loved because of the things we say and do. True? Isn't that why people love America? Because of the things they say and do. True? So what should we do as a country to get noticed? Not to do it by dominating, by sending off bad products so they will need you later on as things will break down. Not by doing any tricks, by actually just being kind and truthful. And who can do what for who, kindly and truthfully. True? Isn't that the goal we're all working towards? So we always take the easy step and just go, let's do this because it's easier, it's there, which could be true. Some things you do got to keep going to make the new world, right? And you say that. As soon as we get this next thing done, because we got to do these bad things to build this next thing, because that's what we're stuck in. As soon as we get this next things done and this next city done, and where we can build it better, we're going to shut down this, because that one allowed to do the same building as this system over here and the same energy, but not pollute and be upgraded and better. True? And in the future's future, it'll just go on from there. So when it comes to printing out money and making things right, we make these certain things right. We make a dedication that when it comes to printing out money and the risks that we're taking, that we'll work as a country, we won't get lazy, we won't fail later in the future, and we're going to do these steps to make things right, and they will pay back. And if it does go up a little bit now, we're going to work on it. We're going to try to work on it as quick as we can without making the inflation go up. Even better. True? So we can do this and sacrifice this. So when it comes to a change, the best way and the fastest way to change is to have a sacrifice. It's to start sacrificing. What can you sacrifice more? What can you hold out? You don't need to go out for dinners every night if it was money saving. True? So you cut your dinners back, right? Like out of The Simpsons, or you cut your own hair, like I'm doing, to save some money because you're short. True? Isn't this the things the government should be talking about when it comes to solving issues, as we did when it comes to COVID, and we just threw out money for those issues, but then we look back on these issues that we threw money at and it really didn't fix anything, right? And we threw all this money out when COVID came out and never had a big, huge outbreak, and we put all this money in a sector, and yet we've made people have to wait for operations longer. True? So when it comes to the people, it just made, and everywhere else, so they try to fix one sector, which we didn't really need. In the end, we had no influx and all that. People didn't really need all the lockdown and the things that happened, right, when it comes to the hospital. And it could have been ran in other ways, which hospitals did, and fixed people and didn't get people sick. So it proves that you can do things without panicking too much and saying that you can't do it. True? So if a sector got a whole bunch of money more and things haven't gotten any more built up, as in there wasn't more operations or there wasn't a sudden influx of sick people, then where did the money go, and why would the system be the same or worse if you got money thrown at it? It should be a whole lot better. True? Anyway, it might not be about the equipment. Might be about how the sector's ran. Might be about how the people work in the sector, who they are. Could be a few different reasons, but we have professionals that were meant to look at this kind of stuff and not get blackmailed behind the scene and not get taken money bribes or anything like that, or be bribed because they shouldn't be in that sector if that's happening. We need to do proper investigations on these sectors and these people so these things aren't happening. True? Because without that, could you ever get a proper start? You couldn't. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there and have a good one. See you later. Right. I hope these comments aren't too hurtful in any lessons, but it's just my opinion. So don't let people's opinions, if you know they're not true, and just have a think about things, get to you. Or if it gets to you, have a think. And then you either go, okay, it's not that bad or whatever, or you don't let it get to you. Because you either change, take an opinion, or just be the same. But opinions are good, because you know where they're at. You can go, well, I know where he's at then. Huh? Well, that person's at. That's why you can just ignore them, because if you don't know them, it's easy to just ignore them. Anyway, I hope that helps, because that's what I'm here to do. Bye-bye!
Then goes on to continue to speak to other detainees within the wing of the cell. On that second call that Cleveland made to officers, when he told him how he was going to do it, the officer responded by telling him not to say those things. It would then be around another 9 minutes before that officer, who had had that short conversation with him, would walk back past Cleveland's cell and discover him hanging. But he wasn't carrying a radio, so he wasn't able to immediately help. He couldn't call an emergency code red, and he also couldn't call for the cell to be opened. So he had to leave, collect the keys from his duty manager, and finally, once he got inside the cell, no one would call an emergency code red for another 6 minutes, and Cleveland Dodd would finally leave Unit 18 in an ambulance almost an hour after he made that first call.
You want me to turn that one around, right? You've been getting some big comments there. For me, as I don't like to read too much, I wouldn't really do such a big comment like that. It's like looking at a book. Oh man, I'd read it if I had to, right? But I mean, I'm in a rush and that, and I don't have to. I don't think it's important. Like I don't have to. I wouldn't, unless it's super good at the start, maybe. I wouldn't keep reading. But that's me. I'm semi fucking illiterate. Get back to me. What do you reckon? Do you see the humour? Let me know in comments. Bye-bye. Right, let's get out and then go back in. to make some more space. And we got another message here already, 6 minutes ago. Big long one. My emails will be clean because it's above mine. Anyway, what to hear. Now, some people would say you need a specialist shrink to come and tell you these magical words. Just a few little words and pay 30 grand for the seminar or something to help people out. But that's not me with some things, because, okay, come on. It's just basic crap, that is, and hopefully it helps them out. If it does, give me a thumbs up, as they say, wouldn't it be? Appreciate what you do for people and stuff like that, you know what I mean? How many promos you reckon I've given out? Interesting. Well, I have to go over things and go, what was a promo and what wasn't? Why did I have to... Was I forced to put out a lot of promos? What do you reckon? Questions we could ask and be answered. Hey. Anyway, bye-bye. Sorry. I hope she doesn't find me too rude. Get far there. Bye-bye.
Today's update, as always, we'll take your questions now.
How long will it take for them to answer my questions in this? Will they only answer questions that they get money from through their department? Are comments here as a facade too? To make it look like we might be able to communicate? Let's find out. In my case, eh? I've already showed a whole heap of that. A little bit more won't hurt. Bye-bye.
Paying attention to your dreams. So somebody know you paying attention to your dreams. A Leo and a Taurus on a full moon, they know they can't get you fired and put out. They start to get stuck. Somebody wants you to be homeless and fucked up and all types of shit. Aries and
People have been trying. People have been trying.
Energy, so something about somebody wild.
Sending debt collectors, texts, all sorts of shit. They're trying everything. False reports. What else are they going to try to be false reports to the government? Will probably get me cut off there. They're trying everything.
Just planning to rob you.
Planning to rob me, want me in jail, take all my shit, and then pretend to be me. How do they do that?
Yeah, they did mean
When
that
they
said
have,
Johnson Harmony.
why do you think I do the things I do?
This is
You
over.
think I dance for
They only
fucking
wanted
money?
So something is
You think
over.
that's what that's
They only
for?
wanted money.
You think my dancing's clowning?
They about to learn a
You
hard
think there's
lesson.
nothing
She
there?
is big mad about a soul
What
pay
is this
contract that
shit?
you got going on, a Virgo.
It's craziness.
They know you got
And why is the
unfinished
world
business
going to
fire sign or
crazy?
something like that.
Because of craziness. Isn't it?
First marriage child.
And people all going, I'm better than you.
Empress,
Shit.
true love.
I'm better
So
than you.
Empress is
I'm better than
somebody's
you.
true
It
love.
doesn't
You
matter
made
how
the
good
right
I am
choice.
and what job or if I'm meant to be here. I'm just better than you. Fucking get over it.
We got Pete.
Bye-bye. Now, you wouldn't say that certain... This is after... Have a look at the clip before this clip. That you wouldn't want to say too many things if you're a healer that can make people paranoid. If you're a healer and you're reading people's future, they can't be all two the same. So if you're not reading people and you're reading the collective, which is meant to be for everybody, then you definitely would want to mention things that can make people paranoid. So how do you do that? Well, the reading before this clip, when I go to put this clip up, in my playlist, have a look at my playlist, right, and you'll see where this is. You'll understand what I'm talking about, because I don't want to specifically say anything, because that's what gets you into trouble in this world. There's certain keys and stuff like that that you can't do. So you've got to play their tricks to get around things, otherwise you're screwed, right? When you're in a trickery world, true? So, I'm not going to say a specific thing of where I'm commenting this, you can work it out. But, all these things, or a lot of what they're saying, can make people paranoid. So if you ever find out the clip I'm talking about, come back and comment on what I'm talking about. When it comes to specific people speaking specific things, definitely if someone thinks that maybe certain religions could be full on true, like tarot reading, right? One side says it's real and the other side says it's fake. Some people say they talk about magic all the time like it's real, and then magic's not proven, so it's fake, right, when it comes to science, right? And so when you have these people going out there talking all this stuff, and they're getting popular doing it too, what do you think that could create? And if people look up to them, and they're talking about things that can make you paranoia, could that create a whole bunch of paranoia that people like, that they're hearing about it? What do you reckon? But anyway, I've reported to YouTube lots about their misleading information about how they speak and how they can put out paranoia. And putting out paranoia too, and you could be putting out paranoia and not comment back, will create even more paranoia. And then they like talking about someone's going crazy, someone's making people crazy. These people, I can debate, could make someone go crazy with certain things that they do and ignorance they do. Right? But you know what? They will never debate me on that. That's why they don't comment me, people. So my fans, which could be them, right? Have a good bloody listen. And if you are my enemy, my fans, pull your bloody socks up and get your shit together and stop being masked and copying people and thinking you can do something better. Right? Why don't you go find someone who could do the job better than you can, instead of you trying to copy it and pretend you can do it. Because you know what? I'm seeing a shitload of people out there doing that exact thing. Why are they doing it? For money? For popularity? Because they can? Let me know in comments. Bye. Alright. Now, for this one, if people are trying to steal you, like trying to get in first, and I know copyright, I know all the rich schemes, richos, how they steal everyone's shit right behind their back. That's why these rich people have made these schemes and this copyright in certain ways, right? And I understand copyright and I understand being fair and rules and that, but they're fair, their rules aren't fair. And if they can get in first before you, they hear you down the street, say an idea or a name or something, these idiots straight away can hear it through your phone or whatever now, or through someone else, and someone else rings someone else who's got the money already, and they quickly run off and go get things patented and and copyrighted, quick fucking smart. So that way, the best always become the best. You get it? We all know this. It's why us little people want to change shit and get sick of it. So how do you do that? You don't give out everything. So if someone wanted to copy you, right, like trying to copy me, I give out a little bit here on that sector, a little bit here over here in this sector, a little bit over there. In fact, enough maybe to get them to fill in some gaps in their way, I guess. They might try, and they'll be different, I guess. But it's all about the timing. That's why you video everything and stuff like that. And then you go slow, because they shouldn't go as slow as you then either when it comes to people doing the similar thing and shit. You make things more to them if they do all too much the same as you when you're doing things completely different and they're trying to do it, and yet you're raving on that you could have already done it. I would have already done my shit ages ago. I'm like 2 years behind. But if I all of a sudden had money, I'd already have a nice place built, church, how it's done me book, probably got rent, and I would have had a great holiday. Instead, I've been here, right? Trying to still get out. That's why I try to get some lotto. After halfway through it, I'm like, got to try and get some lotto. You know, if I can just get the money up, I can go flying into this stuff, and no one able to stop me because I can go flying into the pattern straight away and all that kind of thing. Instead of talking about it, talking to everyone, trying to get a connection who's someone who can help me or wants to help me in the ways I do things and can see. I'm trying to get enough out so they say, oh yeah, he's worth investing, he's worth helping out, he's worth joining. You get it? But I got to a point, after a while, the more I've been trying over the last 2 years, the worse I go, man, everyone out there just wants to take. All you hear about is take. Is that true? No wonder it's harder for everyone to start off, definitely if you are poor. Yourself, you got to go super slow, don't you? That's why I'm about to get off. If I got off, they haven't got a quarter of all the spirituality and things I haven't said yet. I've got a long way to go. You know? But first we got to stand at a spot. You've got to make it look good, as they say. Trying to do my best. Trying to get everywhere as I can. As, you know, living off fuck all money that most people live off besides being a bum. Right? As I'm on welfare benefits. Right? And anyone I know is only on welfare benefits. And they're trying to get through. So I don't get much help, do I? People I know with jobs, they're just too busy. I'm seeing them a couple of times a year every now. How you going? Oh, yeah, see you later. Too busy, can't help you. Can't help you use money. We've got their own bills to pay out and stuff. You know, a lot of people you hear got all this money, they got more shit to pay. Don't they? Most people out there. Right? And they're so busy working, they don't know who you are. Right? They don't know what you're really trying to do. You try to tell someone in a short period of time, in little bits and bits, right, about what you're trying to do. That's why I'm putting all these things up on YouTube, so that eventually your family, they know about my channel, they've looked at it for a second, they do this and they do that, right? But it's up to them one day if they ever want to go back and look at it. Even Emma hasn't even seen most of my stuff. She's only probably seen a quarter of it, because she's doing her thing. Right? One day, she might get sick or bored, and you'll have days and days worth of shit to watch, because that's how much crap I've got. You try to start watching. It'll take a while, like watching season shows, isn't it? But anyway, that's for the top one there, right? That means, I still don't know nothing? Huh? I guess I don't. Why isn't he, even though people aren't even commenting me in that, because there's a lot of things I want to figure out, but it all makes sense when, if people are trying to take you, they won't recognise you, will they? Right? That's how I know certain tarot group that I don't get along with, and that they mention a lot of things that I've been mentioning over the time and straight away, and they can even look into your future, maybe even they'll distill that if you're a friend of theirs. So you got to watch out for certain people apparently, and what they claim, and what they're able to do or listen in, because we talk about things before we go talk about other things, right? You usually get an idea and you talk with your loved ones, friends, and then you go, I'm going to go make a post. You don't just go make a post. Occasionally you might, right? But if you have these people that are listening in, right, they're going to quickly, within the day beforehand, before you did your thing, or hours because you're still doing other things, right? They quickly do whatever you're about to do, right? And they steal it. And they go, oh, I'm just in. And if you ever find things really close to each other, have a really good investigation on things like that, because one could be ripping off the other. True? When it comes to things like that, definitely was new and big and worth a lot of money and stuff, right? If you look back in stories, people have done that, like when it comes to Facebook and McDonald's and stuff like that. People think they can steal it because they think they can do better and all that. And they have no heart. They just think they can just do it. Even though they don't come to you. Like, I find if you want to do an idea someone can't do, you go to them and go, oh yeah, I like that. Can I do it? Or do you want to do it? You want to get help? An idea? Look, I'll do it. And because of that idea, I'll give you 1% of what I'm going to earn later on. You can make a million different deals instead of just taking things from people. No? You can talk to them and go, look, that's one little thing. You've just sparked me an idea of all this and this and that. I'm just going to tell you now because I've got the spark. I'm not going to get all these ideas and this and that and then find out that I'm taking your one little thing and it's just your one little thing and stuff like that. You know? That's why you go slow. Do things slow, put out things a bit different. Try to explain it across. Ask what you think people opinion of it. Like when I put out my logos, I'm like, what do you know what this is? You know, what's this? And that'll also find out if anyone is previously done anything too, right? I wasn't quite sure. There's so many logos out there, right? But if anyone tries to put out a logo or get a logo done since I've talked about it at least, and I talk about it a little bit earlier, so that within days or a week of my idea, you could go to court over that because you'd want to find out how they found out and what do they know and what do they see that logo and why do they do it and so on, no? That's why I wasn't too worried about putting up things, because as far as I'm concerned, and I'm doing God's kind of thing, and I look up to God, and I admire Him, so I do what He would think, right? And how would you get people? How would you get bullies? You get them, well, if they're around, I'll sort them out. But if they're out there and hurting others, how do you wind them in a little bit too? I see it, because after a little bit, I'm like, well, what has this happened to me? But I'm like, but if it works out in the end, I understand this type of plan of God, because we'll flush out this person and that thing and this bad thing and that bad thing. Definitely if you stick to the true rules. That's why I read this part. Good luck in the end of all that. And you can be a non-God believer or whatever. You will come to your judgment in the afterlife, like everyone thinks. You can be a non-believer if you're not brought up in anything until you find your own way. It's all about finding yourself in your own way and how you want to perceive the world. And you can perceive it as any way you want. But there definitely would be an afterlife. If the life creates, there's more likely a dormant place to go from. It all makes sense. We're into science. We haven't worked out things yet. And that's why I believe in a higher being. I've had people who used to come knock on the door all the time and go, well, do you believe in a higher being? Well, I know there's a higher being, but I know I don't have to worship anything higher than me unless it forces me to, and that's what worship is usually, when you're forced. Or if I know it and I love it, well, I'll be nice to it. I'll worship it, right? So there's nothing else to say when it comes to, well, who do you worship? Who do you look up? Who do you know? Well, we know as much as knowledge as we know. That's why they go door knocking, to find out if people know the Bible. Because if you don't know the Bible, well, you should know some wisdom that's in the Bible. It's not to say that you follow the Bible or any other Christian ways. It's just that there's wisdom in it. We like to let you know, and you can make your opinion at the end if any of that wisdom might help you, or you want to do a different way of living like this wisdom and try this way of living in this life, or there might be some things in there that you can change yourself. And we might even get something from it. Who knows, right? But that's what preaching's meant to be about, as you go door knocking and see people in the street. Anyway, I've blabbed on a bit on this one. So have a good one, everyone. And bye-bye.